Hello folks, Glenn from Training Centre Harbour Bay, Practical First Aid. We're going to look at Australian snake bites today. Well, Australian snakes, the venomous ones are elapids. Okay, so different to crotalids and vipers. So the first aid management for Australian poisonous snakes is different to, say, a gaboon viper in Africa. So we're just doing it for elapids. Right, first thing, when you're envenomated, the snake will bite you. Always look for two fangs? No. Could be one fang, could be a long scratch mark. You just think, well, hang on, not sure, it's a snake bite. Calm yourself down, don't walk, because it's muscle contraction and pulsation of nearby arteries which will move the venom through the low pressure pathway called the lymphatic fluids. Lymphatic fluids, muscle contraction, back to the lymph nodes, back to the circulatory system. So you really need to think about calming yourself down and go, hang on, don't move. Give us a hand over here, will you? Get the snake bite kit. Optimistically, you've got a snake bite kit. Right, so what's in the snake bite kit? We've got a pad to put on the bite site, a little bit hyper exaggerated today, but that's a pad. The reason for the pad, we'll assume all snakes are wet bites and they're taipans to proven otherwise. So the snake's really angry, he's spraying venom, injecting venom, venom splashed all over the skin. So we put the pad there, so the venom soaks into the pad, not the broken skin. Okay, good. That can be used for the swab test at the hospital as well. Then we've got a bandage or tape to hold that in situ, followed by the best snake bite bandages you can buy, or smart bandages, I guess they are. Now all you have to do is pull a rectangle until it's a square. So when you pull a rectangle to a square, that's the appropriate pressure to compress the venom in the lymphatic pathway but not affect your blood flow. So that's why they've been designed. I think it's about 110 millimeters mercury mmHg to compress that venom. I've got a couple of different sizes there, got some triangle bandages. I've also got what we call the SAM splint or the Aero splint, and that's for immobilizing. Fantastic. One of the things is wear gloves. The reason I've got gloves on is if I'm handling that bite site and I got a bit of a scratch on my finger, I've now envenomated myself because that's how lethal some venoms can be. So try and wear gloves. Righto. Let's do it. So pad on bite site. I look for multiple strikes on the other legs too, because some snakes are so fast. I mean, it takes you 0.3 of a second to blink. A death adder can bite you in 0.15 of a second, maybe even bite you twice. Okay, so pad on the bite site. What are we going to do now? We'll do this, round we go. You know, just tell them to calm down and not move too much. Of course, get your medevac plan in place, what you're going to do to get help to come to the person. Or in some cases, you may have to unfortunately move the person to help, but think very carefully about that. If they deteriorate en route, can you look after them? That's a big question. Right, so we get the smart bandage. This is a smart bandage, and I'm hoping we can see this one here. So we'll start from there and go to there. We'll leave the shoes on and start here. Round we go. This particular technique looks pretty, but it's also clinically effective. So we go up and around, we go back down. I actually believe this type of bandaging applies an even compressive force to a tapering limb and will slow down the outflow of the venom. Not only that, you won't fall down the screaming heap like a simple spiral normally does. Simple spirals are pretty useless. You've just always got to try and do this type of technique on a limb unless it's a life-threatening hemorrhage. So up we go to there, like that. See that modified reverse spiral. Try and go all the way, so hopefully get enough bandages. Try and go all the way up to the fingertip to the armpit, or to the groin in this case. Round we go. Like that. And rectangle to a square. That's the secret. Rectangle to a square. Let's do it. Nice and high. Now you can simply tie the two legs together with a couple of triangle bandages. That way they won't walk for sure. But if we get the SAM splint, or the Aero splint, its generic name, and we get a person to bandage that Aero splint with these, they're not going anywhere. As in, they're not going to flex their leg and compress the venom, all that sort of thing. So, PIT, pressure immobilisation technique, look at other bite sites, be reasonably optimistic and sort of, let's say, so significant symptomology. Okay, let's talk about a few things with the, I guess, the histrionics of snakebite. Of course you're going to feel snake fright, you're going to go, oh my god, I'm being bitten, I'm going to die. Look, I think it's about 3,000 people a year are bitten, very few people die. The main reason for that is, unfortunately, not good first aid. It's the fact that most snakes dry bite, they're fairly defensive in their striking nature. Well, I have heard anecdotal evidence that says a juvenile brown snake hasn't learned the value of its venom or how long it takes to produce it, so probably when it does bite you, it dumps a lot of venom in you. Now, how does it work? If I go to hospital like this with the paramedics and I'm stable, I don't have any vital sign changes, they just go, okay, what's wrong with the patient? Yeah, possible snake bite and venomation, vital signs within normal limits. Okay, put him in Q4, keep an eye on him. Scenario 2, the paramedics wheelie into A&E, accident emergency. You've got some deteriorated level of consciousness, perhaps some other abnormal vital signs. They'll make a decision, what are we going to do here? Are we going to give the polyvalent antivenin, or do we have time to sort of do a VDK, venom detection kit, find out specifically what snake bit them? That way they can give a specific antivenin. So what's the worry? It's when you give an antivenin, it's been produced, in the case of snake antivenom, it's been produced in the Commonwealth Serum Laboratories in Melbourne, and they're scavenging off the products to make the antivenom, and sadly there is some remnants of the horse's molecular structure and all the other things that go with it. So when they're injecting an antivenom into a human, there's a high chance you could have an anaphylactic reaction from the antivenom and die from that. So they have to be basically ready for that. Probably 2 cannulas, saline, some adrenaline, and hiss open, all goes well. So they're now handling an anaphylactic patient while they're trying to save their life. What I'm trying to say is you do not routinely get an antivenin unless it's crisis time. So I hope this conversation's helped a bit. Have a good, buy yourself a proper snake bite kit, probably a good start. Think about your extrication plans, keep them calm, try not to walk them, and let's hope there's an ambulance or a helicopter readily available to get to the nearest appropriate facility. What do I mean by that? Okay, not all hospitals carry antivenins and venom detection kits. Sadly, because of the cost of it, so we've got to sort of think, how quickly can we get you to the nearest appropriate facility? Anyway, good news, do this, should all be very good outcome. Thanks again, catch you on the next one.